Now let's get to some tinder. I've been making lots of sparks. It looks neat. I'm sure everybody's telling their friends about this video already because of the cool sparks, but let's see if we can't get some flame going. This one is again from Adventure Medical, out of their SOL kit. Comes in a little baggie, which is handy. I guess if it was raining or if I was underwater, it wouldn't be so great, but it would keep it out in, you know, in the cold and snow. I don't need this whole thing ever, so the way I like to use these is to start my fire with them, pull them out, and put them away. Once they get a little charred up. Some people like to cut them. I don't happen to have EMT shears, which would be nice for chopping this. I could mess up my blade doing it, so I'm just going to demo here that you can really fuzz this stuff up. It's a lot like the lint in the inside of your pocket or from a dryer. It gives you a place to either set the match, and of course I'd have some tinder up here, but I can take something like this and hopefully get some fire going. Now, I don't know if you can see it in the film, but there is a flame on this now. It's starting to char up. I'm going to put it out so I don't waste the thing. The nice thing about this type of material, though, you can put it back to you can use it to get your flame started. Think of it as a match or like the wick on a Zippo. Once it's going, you put it out, you save it for later, and you can use it over and over. Unless you're an idiot and you use it all up at your first fire, and then you're without any material. We've got a fast fire and we've got a wet fire. Now these are basically the next step up from the cotton. Both of them are in a pretty heavy duty foil package. I've been messing with these for a while. This one's been in a backpack for 2 weeks and the foil is still in good shape. It's still got its pressure inside, so it hasn't even gotten any hole. This one, same thing. It's been inside of their survival kit, so it hasn't exactly been abused, but it's still pretty heavy-duty packaging. However, it does open quite easily. What we're looking at inside is, well, sort of a mix between a marshmallow and a sugar cube. I don't know how to describe it. It's light as a piece of chalk. Looks a lot like a piece of chalk. It's getting all over my fingers like a piece of chalk. Not a piece of chalk, though. We take our striker to it. This time I'm an instant expert, I'm guaranteed, because it basically made to catch fire. Oops. Alright, prove me wrong, I'm not an instant expert. Huh. Works on water for those guys, doesn't work on water for us. Alright, well, even though we'd like to be experts all the time, obviously that thing's proved us wrong, so we're going to have to do a little more practice with that. Really, it shot, when we were seeing these demoed, it was a lot easier to use, so my hand's a little cold, and I'll use that as my excuse, but let's take a look at this fast fire. Pulling it out of here, it looks to be about the same. It feels a little more chalky to me, or excuse me, a little more waxy than the other. It's definitely a bigger chunk. Now that I'm an expert, I'm going to see that I don't need all of it. I'm going to go ahead and pull some of it off here. Sure, it's mixed up with the wet fire, but we won't talk about that. It's okay. I'm going to put the rest of it aside here, and I'll give it a blast match and see what happens. Well, that made a fire, so definitely not going to say that the wet fire wasn't working well, but this definitely seemed to work a little bit better. Got a bit of a fire going here. You can see we're doing this on a bare rock, so hopefully we won't get attacked by the I don't know, somebody who's somebody for rock rights, because we were definitely going to leave a little mark on this rock, but we're not going to leave any permanent damage. Now I'm going to need to put that out somehow. Did it like that. I'm not Superman, I just basically removed the oxygen from it. The neat stuff is that it should come right back. It's as advertised. And I don't know if you're seeing it there, but we got our flame back again. And it's basically given us a flame on bare rock. So you can see, I think, the advantage, even though we didn't do the best job of demoing it here. You can see that the two products, the wet fire and the fast fire, both do a pretty darn good job of creating a flame that's hot enough to get a bigger fire started without actually needing to carry much more around than just some flint. Okay, we feel real bad for our poor demonstration there of the Tinders, because we know they do a good job, so we wanted to take a second try at it here. What we've got here is the Fast Fire. That's from Solica, or I don't know how to say it, so I'll just put the package down. It's a Fast Fire. We showed it before. And then on this one we've got the Wet Fire, which comes in the deluxe survival kit from Ultimate Survival Technologies. So that's the two chemical tinders, solid chemical tinders. Then we've got the smaller one here, and of course I was remarking that we didn't have a scissors, and about 2 seconds later we realized that we do have scissors in our survival, or in our pocket tools. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I normally do with this stuff is I'd give myself a little piece so I can reuse this with no problems. Thanks, Leatherman. I'm just putting that tinder up so we don't lose the rest of it in this wind. Now what I do with it, and again in the rain this might be a little more trouble, but I sort of fluff it up a bit, and I use this as a bed for my magnesium. So now my magnesium shavings have a place to go. I don't know what the video you get, quality of the video here, what we're going to be able to actually show, but for the most part what I'm doing is I'm creating some notches in my bar of magnesium, and then I use the blade to shave it. And I'm creating a bunch of shavings of magnesium that this little pocket of basically cotton or whatever the material is, and that's a piece of tinder from Ultimate Adventure Medical, Adventure Medical kits. They create the bed that this magnesium gets into. Now I'm still doing it on the fly here and under pressure, so it's not perfect, but now what the idea is that we've got something for that tinder to ignite that tinder, and now this is going to create that spark. Now again, I'm not sure if you see it in the video, but that magnesium, the sparks lit the magnesium lit the tinder, and now I'd be throwing on my larger materials. This isn't a video on how to start fires. Obviously there's lots of ways to go from this little bit of flame to a campfire that's going to help you, but that works pretty darn well. Next we got up is the Fast Fire and the Wet Fire. Now for both of these we wanted to give them a little more hardcore demo, since we know they can do it. I'm just going to go ahead and drop it in the water there. And I'm not using the blast match just because I know it's going to smash everything up now. It'll take me a little bit longer with this flint,